What does the future of politics look like with Gen Z at the helm? We're going to answer that question today with our guest. I'm Mallory Hagan.
And I'm Maggie Gelson Burnett. This is Pretty Furious.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi,
How's your week
Mallory.
been?
It's fine.
As per usual.
Yep, we're good. We're trucking along. Yeah, I'm just measuring everything in pregnancy. So yeah, I didn't feel like a total sack of dicks this week, so that was good.
Yeah, you even got some house projects done
I
or
did.
or or
Yeah.
started. I don't know if you're done. Has your ADHD gotten involved?
Yeah. Oh girl. I've been working on house projects for what feels like 6 years now. So yeah, but we're moving and grooving, But I feel like it's been a relatively quiet week news wise, even though it hasn't. So yeah, that's been cool. Good for the old nervous system.
Yeah, I do agree with you. As we were preparing today, was like,
What's
you
happening?
know, everything pisses me off, so it's hard to say, but nothing really made me pretty furious this week. But there are some things that I think are happening in real time while we're recording today that I'm like, what are you saying?
Yep. For sure.
So, as a reminder, if you're not already, be sure you're following us on all platforms. We're at Pretty Furious Pod, wherever you can. But specifically, we'd love to see you over on Substack. We have now recorded our third deep dive episode.
Yes.
So if you're interested in hearing those, we'd love for you to be a subscriber there. And we still give you our beauty recommendations, just not in the show. So you can't be pretty furious without being pretty first. Make sure you check our show notes. We've got all of our recommendations there for you still. So what headline has made you pretty furious this week?
Yes, so this is a headline that, as you were saying, is kind of like an in-progress one. The House has rejected the DHS funding bill as the White House has ordered agency to pay TSA workers. So the Senate had worked through this bill, come to a conclusion on it. It went back to the House, and they were like, no thanks.
No.
And so I'm just like, God damn it, man. These fucking people, it's like, and first of all, let's be so clear that this looks so bad from a Republican lens because their narrative is completely shot here. They can't stay strategic on who is supporting what. So you have Senate Republicans who are completely in favor of this bill. You have House Republicans who are fighting against it tooth and nail. It is just a shit show. So on the bright side, that's the good part of it. On the less bright side, we're still basically amidst a government shutdown, and we are approaching a 2-week vacation that Congress will take prior to Easter. So
yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think that's that's so insane. The fact that they
do
can
your
have
fucking job.
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to leave until they can come to an agreement and work together to get things done. Yeah, it's just.
It makes me think of that scene in Mean Girls where the principal's like, we will keep you here till morning. It's like, we can't
leave
keep
this
them past 4. We will keep you here till 4. Yeah, that's what I think of.
Yeah,
So.
that totally. Yeah, I just don't think they should be allowed to just go home.
Yeah,
we've got TSA agents living out of their cars and unable to afford their basic necessities, and Congress is like, well, sucks to suck.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
you?
unfortunate. Okay, so what's making me pretty furious is what's trending on X right now. This video of Steve Bannon saying, we're working on 5 or 6 different alternatives for how Trump could run again and be president. I continue to say that on the afternoon of January 20th, 2029, Donald Trump is going to be president for his 3rd term. So everyone who said that they're not being serious, there's no way they can do that, the courts won't let them, yada, yada, yada. I just want to be perfectly clear that Steve Bannon is one of the main people who has orchestrated Donald Trump's existence in our political system from the start. And if this man is working on ways to get Donald Trump elected for a 3rd term, you better bet your ass that's something you should be taken seriously.
Also, I just want to make a quick note here that both Steve Bannon and Donald Trump will be dead in 2029. Like,
From your
these
mouth to
men
God's
are
ears.
these men can't be fucking serious. They are rotting corpses in front of us, like right now, like in real time. It is the disintegration of their body, mind, and spirit is happening in real time.
From your
I
mouth to
just
God's
can't
ears.
take them seriously. Like,
But
what
we have
do you
to.
mean?
But you know we have to.
I know
You know
we
we
have
have
to,
to.
but like Trump will be like 80,000 in 2029. What do you fucking mean?
He will in fact be like 86.
That's crazy.
That is insane. And you know what? That could cause some real fragments among the Republican Party if he's not in jail yet. Because why are we still not holding anyone accountable from the Epstein files? Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Crazy. I know. I
really,
keep thinking about the Epstein files all the time. And
really insane
I'm just
times.
like, what are we doing?
Really
What's
insane
happening
times.
here?
Well, yeah. So 8 will be interesting, and we're going to talk about that a little bit with James Crocker, who's here today. James is a hilarious Gen Z political organizer. He's an activist, he's a writer, and he's on a mission to combat Turning Point USA. He's the president of Fight for America, and he's raising funds and building coalitions to drive across the country to organize Gen Z. So through in-depth articles and investigative pieces and podcast episodes, he and his Substack, which is called Eyes on the Oval, takes a no-nonsense approach to tackling the critical issues that matter most. Let's welcome James Crocker. James, we are so excited to have you here. What headline has made you pretty furious this week?
Hi, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And this is one actually I read last night. I was like doom scrolling on the New York Times, which I don't recommend. That's not the place to do it.
No, I'm boring.
And the headline I read, it said Trump's signature is set to be added to America's currency. And it's just so stupid. Like, it wasn't even like, it wasn't about Iran. It wasn't about something important. It was just so genuinely stupid. I'm like, this is classic Trump. And it pissed me off so bad because, I mean, I don't even really carry cash anymore. I don't know who does, to be honest. But it's just so, ugh. It's like, there's literally no need for that. Yeah. Fully Republicans. Ugh.
I think that that's a really good like MAGA trait. I think that we can add to the list. Like if you still carry, aside from my lovely father, Tim Gelson, like he definitely still carries cash, but he's like 73. So whatever. I think if you carry cash and you're under the age of like 54, you're MAGA. Like I
That's
think
like
that's
a red flag. That's a very red flag.
That's a Republican thing to do. Yeah.
You know what makes me upset is that we are a military family, so we have USAA, which does not have physical branches. So when someone gives me cash for something, whether they're paying me for something or God forbid, and I appreciate it when they're generously giving me cash for a birthday or whatever, I'm always like, this is so wonderful, but I have nowhere to put it. I can't put it in the bank.
You gotta spend it on lottery tickets.
I guess I do have to actually spend it all in one place, as they say not to. But no, the need for Trump to put his name on everything. What other things has he put his name on since he's become president?
I mean, he's put his face all over DC.
All over DC. All over DC. It's giving Hitler.
Oh yeah,
it's giving.
Oh, very much. Like,
yeah.
And the funniest thing is, I know his ass did not read Mein Kampf. Like, I know he cannot read. So it's like he was just looking at the highlights. Like he saw the photos of like the banners. He's like, "Ooh, I want that. I want that.
Yeah.
I want that."
He said fully. He said a military parade and the banners.
Yes. Oh, and you know what really gets me? The way he has made the White House look so tacky. Oh my gosh.
How about tearing it apart?
Right. That and the the little photos he put up with the crappy gold everywhere. Like, I know your ass went to Home Depot. Like, that does not look real.
The spray paint.
Okay, hang on. I did just go to Home Depot recently, and I am trying to like
not too much now. Supposed to be going to Home Depot now. Right. What about the boycott?
I'm trying to like do a DIY project in my bathroom using like Rust-Oleum and like the rub and buff stuff, and it looks literally just like the gold that they use in the White House, and it's so embarrassing. Like I'm like,
tell you it is.
I have to scrap it. Like,
Oh, he
this
would
is
love
not
it.
working. It's not working. So anyway,
Oh man. Okay, yeah, the signature being on our cash, just another thing that you're just like, oh my god, could we not?
I was
That would
like,
be
there's no
great.
need for this. Like, and it was such like a silly thing. I'm like, out of all things to piss me off, like that just really did it for me. I was going on to New York Times. I was trying to play connections, trying to do my strands, my Wordle, and I see that, and I'm just like, why? Like, literally, there's no need for that.
There's no need
And
for
like, I
many
don't even know if
things.
it's actually gonna happen either, because he's been promising so many things with the dollar bills. He said he was gonna put like Harriet Tubman on one. That never happened, obviously. Like, so who knows? He'll probably follow through on this one though.
Yeah, well, it has to do with him.
Right, exactly.
James, you have grown up at such a crazy time. Like, I really can't imagine like being in my formative years during like the clusterfuck of what's happening politically. I'm so curious to know from your perspective, like, how do you think the political environment we're in today in America has impacted your generation? Like, we've seen obviously the very kind of like tangible things that have happened, like with the manosphere and Gen Z kind of veering right in the last election. Like, what else do you think has just been kind of a byproduct of having the clusterfuck of Donald Trump for like a very large majority of your upbringing?
I feel like the worst thing is it kind of feels normalized to us, this like chaos that is politics. And like literally like seeing clips from like 2008. I was born in 2007. So seeing clips from like the Obama McCain election.
That's the year I graduated high school.
Crazy. Oh my God.
Your
I
reaction.
don't feel that much older than you, but my god, okay.
I really don't. I actually feel very connected. I'm like, no.
Honorary
girl.
Gen Z, trust.
Wow.
But yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
just, it feels very normalized to us. And especially growing up with the iPhone. I mean, the first iPhone came out in like 2007. So when the newer generation was being born, we're used to social media. We pretty much grew up with it. So it all just feels very normal to us. Like the way politics are now, like no one really remembers the better era, sort of, where I wouldn't say it was like boring, but it wasn't as important for most people.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
I
at
think
the
that's-
forefront
attention.
of what you.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Mhm.
think that's really affected the way we view it now, because this is so normalized to us, we don't really expect more. And we should. This isn't
Yeah.
right.
I think there's something to be said for the fact that when government is working well, it really shouldn't be
Right.
this central in our lives.
You don't
right?
hear about it.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
They're very quiet.
Yeah.
That is really unfortunate. And I do think it also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were saying we remember it being boring, but I remember it being, respectable, right? It was
Yes,
something where
absolutely.
we held our elected leaders to a specific standard, and the
Yeah.
things that we see coming from not just Donald Trump, but throw a rock in politics. The things that we
Fully.
see from these people are things that we would absolutely have shunned, just 12, 13 years ago. So I think that's really unfortunate. But you're on a
Mhm.
mission to change how your generation is engaged with
Hopefully.
politics. Yeah, you're on a mission to drive across the country. Tell us where
Yes.
you're at in
Yes,
that
oh my God.
mission. Yeah.
So right now, I mean, there's not too much I can say, unfortunately. We're working on a lot of sponsorships and stuff like that behind the scenes. The big thing is it costs a lot. It's expensive. So that's been the big thing, trying to secure funding. We're trying to get on the road very soon. Hopefully late spring, early summer, and just go through the midterms, go to college campuses. And the really exciting thing is there's just been a lot of support for this, both from young and old people alike. And that's just been really inspiring. Even when I first announced this is my idea, this is what we're planning. People donated super quickly. We raised over $9,000 in a single day. And just that funding alone has been crucial in helping us secure more sponsors and show people that we have the grassroots support for this. So it's been really exciting. I mean, we're trying to show that Dems need an alternative to the Republican youth organizing machine that is Turning Point USA, that is Prager University, and all those various groups that are funded through different dark money sources and money laundering type ways from Republicans. So that's been the big thing. And I'm honestly just like super excited for it. My friends and I have been working on it for a while. And I mean, like it's finally coming up. It's finally time to kick off soon. So I'm really hyped. And I feel like it's
Yay.
something that's so needed. And I know a lot of young people are going to connect because literally, I mean, for us, it's just super excited to just be like driving around. It's basically, I'll tell you a little bit about the school bus. I mean, I purchased one back in the fall, but that's not the one we're going to be using on the tour. Just because we were getting like a more renovated one. But basically, I don't know if you've seen on TikTok, but like there's this whole community where they convert these school buses into basically like RVs and they call it schoolies and they literally
Yeah.
like they sleep out of their school buses.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically our plan. I mean, we've been looking at a few different ones to secure and just drive it across the country. And the cool thing, I guess kind of scary too, is that if it's a school, you don't need like a special type of license to drive it. You can literally just drive it with your regular school license. So obviously, I've been doing a lot of training with school buses. I know how to reverse park them, stuff like that. But it's still a bit scary, especially because I didn't start driving like not that long ago. It was pretty
Like
recent.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah. So it is a little scary. So I gotta say, like, maybe stay off the road when we're coming around, but definitely do come visit when we stop, though.
So, well, tell us.
Come pick me up.
Yeah, just a little bit of context. Like, take us back a little bit to where, like, what sparked this idea for you. And you mentioned it, but so you took your own money, you bought a school bus. Now you're saying it's
Yeah.
not the one that you're using moving
It's
forward.
not the
but-
yeah, so it's not the one that we're gonna be using, but it helped for promo, and also just for sort of learning how to drive the school bus. But honestly, I can't like quite tell you what exactly sparked it. It was like a few different things at once. I'd always been talking with my friends about launching some sort of national alternative to Turning Point USA, and there are like a few different groups that do sort of similar things. They don't do like a full broad like combat, countering Turning Point USA. And so we're like, we really need to bring together like a coalition of groups. Would that be the young Dems and the high school Dems and the college Dems to really fight what's going on? Because we've just been getting out organized and there have been results, showing that with the Gen Z's turn to the right. And so I'm like, we need ways to combat this. And also we need to show Democrats and especially party leadership that you can't just sort of rely on young people's votes anymore. Like it's not that simple.
Mhm.
So it was
Yeah.
that. It was thinking we need like a large campus mobilization effort. And then also just, I think literally just scrolling on TikTok, seeing these like converted school buses, I was like, wouldn't like driving that around the country be super fun?
Mhm.
And like originally I was like, maybe we could do like a van. I know some people like convert these vans and stuff like that. But I was like, I feel like a school bus might be better. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how it came to. And I was scrolling on Facebook Marketplace. I found one that was perfect. And it went from there. And I mean, since then, I've definitely been learning a lot more about school buses, their engines, mechanics, all that type of stuff. Is definitely not super simple as I thought. But it's been exciting. It's definitely been a learning moment as well in terms of diesel engines, all that stuff. But I'm really hyped to kick it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Turning Point USA is like a massive, massive organization that you're going up against. Like they have been organizing forever. They obviously had Charlie Kirk behind their mission. No longer. Now they have Erica Kirk, which is sad.
Wait,
and
really
so-
quick, did y'all see the Drewski skit?
Yeah. We were talking about it just a couple of days ago. A couple
Oh my
friends
god,
of
it
mine.
was it was so good. It was
So good.
so good. I love
it
how he
triggered
branded
her,
it like
which I appreciate.
yeah, I love how you branded it like Republican women be like just in case, just to cover all the legalities. But it was
No,
so funny. I mean,
100%.
like there's no question he even did the trademark stare, the like
Or glare.
the glare,
Yeah.
yes.
100%.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, I guess I'm just curious, like, how you feel going up against this, machine, this entity that has, I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe billions, question mark, like
Yeah.
backing it. Like, what do you think that means for kind of the future of organizing for Democrats? Like,
I mean, it's
trying to go up against Turning Point USA.
right. It's scary, to be quite honest. It's scary, and it's also concerning because if Democrats don't really start investing big money into youth organizing, we're not going to be able to match the moment. Because it's not just about hype. That's certainly a big thing, hype, internet numbers, stuff like that. But we need money, you know, and not just like Fight for America and the tour, but just youth organizing in general, because we're getting outfunded, outspent, and ultimately out organized, and that's really scary. And so it's definitely intimidating. But I think the big thing now, especially with the switch, you know, I think what happened to Charlie Kirk was awful. It was super scary. I did not like that man, obviously, but gun violence is a problem in general that should be eradicated. I think that's also a bit scary too, because it's like we're going to be going out and doing public events in the public eye and doing big campaigns and rallies. So it's like, could that be a possible, you know, safety situation for us as well? So that's investing money into security and stuff like that, which costs a lot more as well.
Right.
So it's a weird environment. And I think it's the way, you know, both Kamala and Trump campaigned in 2024, especially after that assassination attempt on Trump, where they were literally in like boxes, you know, of bulletproof glass. It's like, how do you use that and also do like grassroots campaigning while at the same time ensuring that you're safe? So it's a weird environment. I mean, we'll definitely be doing some events indoors as well for larger rallies, but ultimately we just gotta do it and, you know, hope for the best and pray for the best. But it's weird. It's scary. It's a bit intimidating, definitely going against a machine like that. But you've got to remember, like, at the end of the day, they really don't have the public support, especially the youth support. The reason they've gotten so far is because of all the money that's backing them.
Yeah, totally. I just saw that, like, that comparison of have you guys seen this? The influencers who like one, like a woman was offered a campaign from the right and from the left.
This was my friend Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
was
was
insane.
Offered, like 35 grand from the right and 2K from the left.
From the left.
Like,
and it's like, oh my God. And it's like, it's not that the money's not there. That's the biggest thing. Like, we spent over $1 billion in 2024 and like a few months of campaigning for Kamala Harris' campaign. So it's not that the money is not there. It's just not being invested in the right way.
Well, I definitely think Democrats have a real problem where they lose and they take their ball and they go home, and instead of staying in the fight, they sort of like rest and recuperate.
Right.
And there's this whole like mental health echelon of the party. But it's like,
woe is me.
Truly though, it's a little too like, woe is me, right? People get like, we lost, and then they retract. We've seen this because of the work that I do. I consult in multiple different spaces, right, where we're fundraising, and people are like, oh, well, it didn't do anything in 2024. I'm done, or I'm moving, or I'm whatever.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that Republicans never stop.
Right. And you saw that with Trump. He had this never-ending campaign after
he was running
trying to overthrow it. Yeah,
he was running the whole 4 years.
The whole 4 years. And I hate to like commend him, but that's the smart thing to do.
Absolutely.
And that's what really kills me for Dems. Like you said, you're making such amazing points, because sort of after this campaign, we just kind of went silent. And, you know, I like that Kamala Harris is at least doing some events now. I mean, albeit it's for her book tour, you know, it's a little self-serving, but at least she's out there. At least she's doing stuff. Yeah. I would have loved to see that even from President Obama after his 2 terms. I mean, he definitely needed some rest, but we need our leaders, our party leaders, to be out there doing events. And I really like that with Bernie Sanders and AOC. They were doing rallies. I've seen other politicians doing rallies. That's exactly what you've got to be doing in those years where you don't have leadership, because that's how you gain it back. And also keeping up the mailing list, keeping up like the fan bases and stuff like that. I liked how Mamdani has been doing it so far, how he's still keeping his supporters engaged, because that's what you got to do. You can't just, after a campaign, win or lose, you just kind of forget about it. You sell off the campaign list, stuff like that. You have to keep them engaged and involved. If not, people have very short, you know, memory spans. They're going to forget about you.
Yeah. Well, and you have to
Yeah.
keep championing your wins, right? And I think
Right,
Mondani's doing a
absolutely.
really good job of that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
every
Yeah.
time they do something he said he was going to do, my God, the social presence, the way that they really message around his wins
Oh, it's been great.
has been really
Mhm.
good. And I think we keep talking about, we use the words mobilize and organize, and those are two
Mhm.
separate things. And
Right.
one of the things that we've seen here recently, and I actually can't remember who put out this statement, so it's not my idea, but or my thought, but this idea that Democrats are really good at mobilizing people. We're really good at getting people energized and like excited, and Republicans are good at organizing people. Long-term investment,
I think
long-term
it was the New
organizing.
Yorker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you see that with Turning Point USA, like you
Absolutely.
see the Heritage Foundation, these years long commitments to getting things done. And the thing is that Republicans, everybody just gets on board. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I don't think that's healthy for democracy. It's groupthink, but there is some element of that that's necessary in order to make progress. And I do think sometimes as Democrats, there's a lot, like our coalition is big. We got a big tent, and inside that big tent, there are a lot of different people with a lot of different ideas about how to do things, and it can get really convoluted really fast. What do you think is like Gen Z's role right now in the Democratic Party? What
I
should
feel like
what should we be looking to Gen Z for?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say, but I feel like right now there isn't one, to be quite frank, because there isn't a lot of involvement. And I think there's a lot of distrust in the party from Gen Z, to be honest. What I'm seeing, especially for those who are a bit more politically involved, who are a bit more informed, a lot of people are breaking with the Democratic Party because of issues like Israel, because of their handling of the conflict in the Middle East. You know, a lot of people see these track APAC graphics on social media and they immediately think, why should I vote for either politician? You know, now I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but the thing is, when your only political socialization, when your only exposure to it is seeing these big money influencers, you know, influencing both politicians from both sides, you're going to immediately be concerned. And that just, unfortunately, really just makes younger people step away from politics. And that's not good either. And so I have, you know, definitely been liking this new movement of politicians who aren't taking any corporate PAC money, stuff like that, who are disavowing them. And I think that's going to definitely be a bigger issue in 2028, especially with presidential candidates who have been in politics for a while, who have taken APAC money and big oil money and other sorts of, you know, foreign influences. It's going to be a hot topic. And it's definitely something that's really big among Gen Z. But for me, my biggest issue, to be quite frank, is just that the Democrat, especially party leadership, you know, at the DNC just isn't involving young people enough. And, you know, I got to give him credit. The DNC chair, Ken Martin, he's really trying. In fact, he helped young Democrats start up so many years ago. He's trying to, you know, invest money into them and get them more involved in the DNC itself, the high school Dems, the young Democrats, the college Democrats. But I think the big thing is, you know, giving them micro grants to college chapters, ensuring that they remain involved, and giving them leadership positions so that they feel they actually have a voice. And I think that's a thing that the Republicans have done very well. I mean, they were the first to have a young Democrat be a chair of the RNC. They were the first to really invest in college chapters and keep them going year after year, especially with TPUSA. But the big thing is, these college kids, they're not just in it, you know, to help turn out votes, stuff like that. They also get promised leadership roles. They also get, you know, jobs and stuff like that. And when that's not happening for the Democrats, there's really no incentive for them to join, because ultimately these kids need a job after they graduate. So that's the big thing.
Yeah. And it's like, it used to be that, you know, if you were, I mean, first of all, politics wasn't, to our previous point earlier, like wasn't as we weren't as enmeshed in it, you know, constantly all the time as we are today. And where, you know, a lot of Gen Z, I'm sure, is seeing their rights on the chopping block and going, oh, fuck, this is a real, like I have to be involved somehow, but I don't really feel inclined to be involved with the Democrats. I don't really feel inclined to be involved with the Republicans. So maybe I'll just sit this one out.
Yeah, it
like,
leads to voter apathy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's such a good point.
It's a big issue when they don't really see like a functioning opposition party either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Mm-hmm.
see Democrats, especially leaders in the Democratic Party, who are just kind of split on issues. I think the big thing with the Republicans is they have one clear leader, and that's Donald Trump. The Democrats, you don't really know who to look up to. Are you looking up to Gavin Newsom's, comeback tweets on Twitter? Are you looking up to Kamala Harris's book tour? Who else? We have a lot of different messengers, but I don't think really the problem is the message itself, but rather the messengers themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because young people are not getting enthused by Democrats like Chuck Schumer. We're not really getting hyped by him. And so you can't just like roll him out every other week to give a press conference. That's just not hyping up the base.
Yeah, totally.
If you had to choose a person like who is currently sort of in the media ecosystem that's a Democrat, if you had to choose like one or two of those people that you would say, I would elevate this person, they're doing it right, I think Gen Z will look to them and they can mobilize us, who would you choose?
It'd probably have to be people like AOC and Mamdani, to be quite frank. They're really doing a good job, especially AOC. And I think this not only elevates her, it puts her potentially, on a platform to run for president in 2028, albeit, or the Senate, something like that. But she's been really big among young people, and for a while, as well. Not only because she's just a younger person herself, she represents a lot of the progressive and some socialist values that a lot of young people are interested in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that people like AOC, to me, so I live in Alabama, and I actually also ran for Congress in 2018, and I was attached to publicly AOC. People kept saying she's just like AOC,
Right, she's
and
like
so,
a radical, stuff like that.
yeah. And to be really honest, I am a lot like AOC, so they
Right.
weren't wrong, but that message doesn't necessarily work in every place,
state.
in every state
Absolutely.
around the country.
And that's been the big thing. It's interesting to see the way that voters think of different politicians. I know a lot of people would refer to Kamala as this radical leftist, stuff like that, when not at all.
No.
Like, she's very much more a moderate, centrist type Democrat.
Absolutely.
And that's fine, especially when you're running on, like, for the presidency. You want to have more moderate views. Maybe in 2028, not so much. I think we're seeing more now that honestly just move more to the left, because I think like things in 2024, like partnering up with Sarah Palin, just really backfired. It didn't really gain any voters.
Yeah.
Totally.
Do you ever have conversations with your peers? Because I think just being a generation ahead, right? And having been involved in politics now for, I'm going on 8 or 9 years. When I ran, I was 29. So I there's a piece of me now that's like, I get frustrated with young people who don't follow the like just get on the bus in the direction that you want to go. That we hold politicians to these like impossible standards. You're talking about it's okay to be a moderate Democrat running for president. We've got to appeal to a mass number of people. But a lot of people would disagree with you and say Kamala wasn't far left enough, and therefore she didn't earn my vote. And I feel like
a lot of people don't understand that. Yeah. And I think it's tough. And that was something I spent a lot of 2024, especially when I was campaigning to younger voters, saying, I would love to see her do more, for Israel, for Palestine, not for Israel, but I would love to see her do more on some of these more leftist issues. It's tough, though, when you're campaigning for the presidency, when you're campaigning to the literally entirety of the United States. I think a lot of people don't understand that, especially when you're not in politics for super long. I've been in politics for quite a while. I've gotten to know this. I've gotten to understand all the disappointments that unfortunately come with that. But it's tough. It's very tough for people to understand that. And also be like, well, Trump is doing all these like super far right things. Why can't our candidate do that, but on the left? And frankly, sometimes they have a point. I think in 2028, we're going to see a lot of disavowing of moderate positions. We're going to see candidates who hold these leftist positions who are going to do a lot better, and I mean, it's been happening. You see the support that Bernie Sanders had back when he ran. There's like an audience for this, there's a want.
There might be, though, an argument to the fact that the polarization on either side doesn't help us actually get anything done. So, Donald Trump has super, super right-wing views, and because of their long history of organizing, they were smart in how they placed judges around the country, how they got people elected, but like just holding the opposition view isn't enough to actually get something done and accomplished. So I think that's the thing that like we have to reshape the framework of how Democrats think. It's yes, this person, I can want every person in the country to have free healthcare. And I think with the right level of organizing over the next 20 years, we could get there. But just electing someone who says that doesn't
It's not gonna
guarantee
do it.
that it's going to
Absolutely.
happen. And we have to
And I think
help
that's
people understand the process.
Right. It's about the infrastructure. It's about building up the infrastructure. And I think the Republicans really beat us on that on a local and state level. They've spent years, they've invested hundreds of millions of dollars into these organizing efforts, and it's really paid off. And I think slowly the Democrats are starting to combat that. We're seeing a lot of local wins, especially now. And I think you always see that, you know, especially when you have Trump as the president, you always see a lot of good wins on our side. But the question is, can we keep it up? Because we had 4 years of Biden as president and not a lot happens. And I think that's
rested on our
something
laurels.
Right, and I think something that really alienated a lot of young people too, because they're like, we just had a Democrat as president. Why should we vote for another Democrat if things are still expensive, you know, life is still unaffordable, and things aren't really going great? And so it's tough. And it's also tough trying to explain the economy to like a college kid who's just trying to pay gas and their student loans. It's tough to be like, oh no, you don't get it. Like the economy's recovered since COVID. Like it was just the pandemic. You can't go into like a full econ lesson. It's just simple things. It's Canada's being like, no, we will lower gas prices. We will do this and that, X and Y. It's like the student president saying they're gonna have no homework and extra homecoming dances. People believe that. People buy into that, and it works.
Who do you think then, James, from your perspective as somebody younger than Mallory and I, what is your perspective on like who should be that person then for the left in 2028? Like we've heard a lot of, you know, I hate to say this because I'm really not his biggest fan, but like we've heard a lot about Gavin Newsom and
We've
about
heard a lot.
he is the candidate because he's a good-looking white guy who could, you know, when we have a race that will inevitably be probably a white man versus whoever the left picks, a white guy would probably be a sound, you know, person to nominate. So I'm curious from your perspective of like, you know, we are kind of shuffling our way into like authoritarianism. Who is the candidate that is
we're off
not
the cliff.
shuffling our way.
We're off the cliff.
Girl, we
you know, I'm gonna say it right now. I don't think it's Gavin Newsom, and I definitely agree with you there. I don't think Gavin Newsom, quite frankly, has a lot of young people's support either, just because he really hasn't done a whole lot for California. You know, just even starting there's a lot of issues where young people just have split from him, don't agree with him, especially on, you know, just lowering homelessness and stuff like that. He's been really strict against that. But the big thing is he's just very centrist in his positions, his values. It seems like every other week he's kind of switching up his opinions. I mean, we've seen this with Palestine. He said, you know, there was apartheid going on in Israel, and then he quickly flipped back on that, and he's just been going all over the place. And the thing is, I don't think that's something that young people want to see. They really want to see someone who definitely has more progressive values, but also believes in their values. And I think everyone wants to see that. We don't want to see a politician who's giving us this legalese lawyer speak who's like, oh no, but I agree with both sides. We want someone who stands firm in their values. So for me, I don't really have a clue, to be honest. I mean, there are people I'd love to see. I'd love to see John Ossoff run for president. I'd love to see Andy Bashir, J.B. Pritzker even. J.B. Pritzker's been great recently.
No, I live in Illinois, and you are not taking J.B. Pritzker from me. Literally, no.
That's her man. She calls him her emotional support billionaire.
He is my emotional support billionaire. Absolutely not. You will not take JB from me. Like you will have to pry him from my cold dead hands. Absolutely not.
But although no, like seriously, I would love him even as like a Veep. That could be fun. Frankly, I think he'd get more done as governor in Illinois than as a Veep. But I would love to see him on a ticket. I'd love to. I feel like he's definitely going to run at least. But
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and that's the thing. If we're gonna pick billionaires, go with JB. Like, and
Give
if we
Jamie
need
Prisker a shot.
right, and if we need reality TV stars, I know they're thinking about like a Real Housewives of Chicago. Get him on that. Like, we could do it. We can make it work.
Fully. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and especially
an
like
interesting point though. Like he has really been able to embrace so much of what young people want, you know, which is like a governor who is engaged on social media, but not like so, I guess, engaged to the
that's
point
like
where
cringy.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
That he's like doing
it's-
TikTok dances.
Sometimes I think Gavin Newsom's content is a little cringy, like where I'm
think
like,
so,
"Ooh,"
absolutely.
like, you're
And I
kind of
think-
trying hard.
I think it's funny because people kind of, you know, assume they're like, oh, like young people are really consuming Gavin Newsom's content. To be quite frank, it's not the young people who subscribe to him. It's frankly older millennials and more that boomer generation who really like, yes, that's a great clap back. That's love that. A lot of people, younger people, really just kind of make fun of him, to be honest. And
40-year-old
it's sad.
housewives love him.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't really know what to think about Gavin Newsom, to be honest. I've seen him in person a few times. He's a sweet guy, obviously, as most politicians are. But he bounces back and forth on his views. He really doesn't hold any great progressive values. And I'd love to see that. You know, if he wants to run, he definitely wants to run. He's for sure going to. He should move further to the left. I think all candidates should do that. You know, I'm not saying they should be out there with like Marxist values and supporting whoever. You don't have to go full communist, but like at least start supporting like basic things, like even, you know, possibly dabbling into Medicare for all. Like I like how James Tallarico did it, Medicare for y'all. I feel like that was like a light version of it, and I'm like, sure, like that works, honestly, especially in Texas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think what we all want is people who feel authentic, people
Absolutely.
who genuinely seem like they care about representing the people that they serve, that's what they remember, that they serve us, like they work for us, that the big
Yep.
billionaire donors and the corporations, those people did not hire them. We do. And I really hope that as we move through 2026 that we have success, and that we don't, you know, rest on our laurels, but that we continue to work. And so we're really thankful for people like you, James, who are getting ready to
Thank
tour the
you.
country and get other folks involved. Where can people find out more about what you're doing and follow along?
Yeah, so I mean, we're currently in the process of relaunching a website, but when it's up, it'll be at Fight For with a 4, because we're Gen Z. Fight4americabus.org. We'll also be all over socials, but for now, you can really stay updated through my socials, which are James Crocker with 3 R's, because the original James Crocker took that username before I was even born or whatever. So it's gone.
James, thank you so much for joining us. It was so fun to have you here on Pretty Furious.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks,
so much for
James.
having me. This was amazing. We definitely got to do this again.